Welcome to the Interior Design Beat podcast, where you will hear candid commentary on various interior design subjects and topics, including the good, the bad, and the ugly, telling you like it really is. Welcome to the Interior Design Beat podcast. This is your host, professional interior designer, Stephen C. Adamco. This podcast is going to be a continuation of sorts from the previous podcast, and the previous podcast was titled Interior Designers Near Me. That's like what you put in a Google search bar when you want to do a search, Interior Designers Near Me. Your guide to finding the right one for you and your interior design project. This is the description I wrote for the prior podcast to this one, which is the title that I just mentioned. Searching, finding, and selecting the right interior designer for you and your interior design project is as important as choosing a mate. It is a mini marriage that will last as long as the project. There's a lot riding on the line, so to speak, in the form of money, time, and resources, as well as your success and happiness. This is one place you don't want to make a mistake and choose the wrong person for your interior designer, because if you choose the wrong interior designer, you may never recover. And it won't be because you're, quote unquote, stone in love on your journey. That's a veiled reference to the song by the group Journey called Stone in Love. So you're not going to be stone in love on your actual interior design journey. Make the right choice and you just may be on top of the world. Now that's a reference to Top of the World song by Van Halen. All right, interior design is a lot like music. Your interior design project better sing, and it better sing well. You really must do your own due diligence and use your own brain to make sure that you have the best interior design partner. You really have to know who to listen to and take advice from. Now, at last, you have that person in this very podcast, that being me. So listen and listen well, because this podcast may very well save you a lot in a lot of ways and more than you can imagine. So you're going to be hearing a lot of wisdom and insight here. So do not take it lightly. So get some wisdom, insight, and understanding right here, right now. Okay, that was the introduction to the previous podcast. And lo and behold, out of the blue, I record this podcast and I set it to go live at 5 a.m. on Tuesday the 9th. Lo and behold, I don't know if it was in the afternoon, I get a call from a representative of Angie. So I was talking about Angie's List, Decorilla, can't remember the 5 or 6 that I talked about. But anyway, so one of the ones that I led off with was Angie, previously known as Angie's List. So anyway, I get a phone call from this rep, and I'm on the phone for like an hour, and he's pitching me on being part of Angie and being one of the vendors. So I'm listening to him and I'm also asking him questions. But the whole deal is to get you signed up so that you can get leads from Angie. So to give you a quick overview of Angie, you get to be, as a vendor, provider, service provider, Angie certified, or the consumer gets this, Angie certified aspect. It says we screen Angie certified pros to ensure that we're connecting you with qualified home service professionals. Then you get real neighbor reviews. See what your neighbors think about pros before you hire. We verify that each review is coming from a real pro customer. And then pros for projects big and small. With thousands of vetted pros and 500 plus categories, we can connect you with the right pro for any home project. All right, let me just break those 3 elements down here for a second. Angie certified. We screen Angie certified pros to ensure that we're connecting you with qualified home service professionals. Well, what they do is they do a background check on these people to see if there's any criminal history or what have you, court cases, whatever might be out there that would not make a good service professional. But that's what they do. They don't look into, well, how good are they? Are they a good listener? Do they really know interior design well? These people don't have that kind of knowledge, and they're not designers anyway. So it's just, these aren't bad people. In other words, they don't have a record. They put a lot of money apparently into vetting these people and doing background checks on it, just like somebody would do a background check on you if you were going to get hired into a new business or you were going to be hired for a job or something. Same kind of thing. Okay. And then your neighbor reviews. Well, again, sometimes it can be like, well, they're great to work with, they're fantastic. And that can be a two-edged sword because they might say, oh, they were fantastic. Later on down the line, they have problems with the installation, let's just say. So a lot of times the reviewers aren't, you might say, certified reviewers. They're just customers that don't have much knowledge about building, carpentry, things of that nature. And then they've got all these categories that they can connect you with, 500 plus categories. So I'm going to go into a little more detail here on what this entails. So continuing on off of their website, they have price transparency. They've said we've collected cost data from millions of real home projects to be sure you're getting fair upfront pricing for yours. You can have this on-call service support. Reach out for help anytime. Their support team is standing by to assist you every step of the way. And then the happiness guarantee. When you book and pay with Angie, you're covered by our happiness guarantee. We'll cover your project up to the full purchase price plus limited damage protection. Okay, that means you've got to pay something there. Then, common questions. Is Angie connected with Angie's List? Angie's List is now Angie. It says you'll still find the same highly rated pros, deals, and verified neighbor reviews you've counted on for more than 20 years. So is Angie free to use? It says yes, you can use Angie and the Angie app to book home services, request quotes, and research local pros and pricing, all for free. And then it says our revenue or our money comes from two sources: service professionals who pay to advertise services and discount offers on Angie, and paid memberships, which give homeowners access to discounted home services and more for an annual fee. So they say, how do pros become Angie certified? To become Angie certified and pay to advertise services and discounts on Angie, businesses with at least one review are required to maintain an average rating of 3 stars or higher. The business's owner, principal, or relevant manager must pass a criminal background check, and the business must maintain all applicable state and local licenses. We revoke certification and advertising of any business that fails to maintain these requirements. Well, that's the business owner principle. What about the workers? I guess they're not checked out. Then it says, how do I know I'm getting a fair price? And Angie says, we've done our homework to ensure you're presented with fair service pricing and accurate local cost information. See transparent pricing and book home services in an instant. You can rest assured that all pricing you see on Angie is based on data collected from millions of real home projects provided by real homeowners like you. When you're requesting quotes and working directly with pros on project, we recommend that you get at least 3 quotes and pay close attention to bids and contracts. If something's unclear, be sure to ask questions and get clarification. All right. Well, what am I going to say about that? They're also telling you do your own diligence. They always say, I want to get 3 quotes. Well, how do you know what quality level these home services were offered at? I mean, is it the elite of the elite? Well, no elite interior designer that I know of is on Angie's List, because that just puts them in kind of the average and, well, the average. So anyway, they come off as, we're your protector. We're going to look out for you and make sure that everybody's vetted and everybody's up to snuff. But it doesn't tell you how good of a carpenter they are, how good of an interior designer they are, how much experience, wisdom, insight they bring to the project. A lot of the intangibles. They're not going to source that for you. So anyway, I get this call from this guy. And so finally, after we get through 45 minutes, I finally say again to him, I said, well, I need to know, what is the base fee for me to get involved with this? And he says, it's going to be costing you it will cost you $288 per year. So he tells me the annual membership for me as a vendor is $288 per year based on, my location, I guess. So in addition, there's a finder's fee or a lead fee. They'll give you leads like looking for a living room makeover, or kitchen or bathroom remodel. So each of those is a lead. And I've seen some of these leads and, they're not very complete. So, if you don't think the lead is appropriate, you tell them and say, well, I don't want that lead, and they won't charge you for it. But the finder's fee or the lead fee that Angie will bill or charge the service provider is $35 to $126. So let's just say that I get a bunch of leads and they say, yeah, that's what you asked for and whatever, but the lead's no good or it doesn't seem to pan out or the customer is just, checking for pricing and maybe free information or something and whatever the case may be. So I said to him, I said, well, over the year of my membership, let's say you shoot me 10 leads and they're all $70. Well, that's $700 plus $288. So I'm approaching like $1,000 of cash outlay for what? Maybe nothing, maybe just air. Okay. I don't look at that as a good investment. I could use that for a lot of things in my business. But I also don't want to turn over my lead generation to somebody like Angie, trying to do that for me and connecting me. And, maybe for a lot of people that works well. I guess some people said, yeah, it works well for us. But I don't think I would as a high-end interior designer because I'd rather have people be attracted to me, not somebody, giving me leads that may not be worth much and then I'm still paying for them. I don't like doing that. I don't like to pay for nothing. And then he also adds some information that they usually have a 30% closing ratio, which means that you close 3 out of 10. All right. But I'm saying, well, I could be paying for a lot of air, a lot of nothing. And he says, well, but you could get this one big job that covers all your expense. Well, then I'm even. I'm back to zero. Let's just say, it charged me, let's say $1,000 for leads and membership fee combined. And then, maybe I get a job that's profitable and I'm able to pay $1,000 easily from that job. But they can't guarantee that. They can't guarantee anything. They always say, well, but you could get that one job and it would pay for everything. Well, yeah, in speculative terms, that is true. But in reality, it may not be true. Okay, that's all speculation. Okay, so anyway, it appears that customers, if they want the full-fledged ordeal, they're going to have to pay something too. So to get back to the origin, Angie, or Angie's List as it was formerly called, was started by Angie Hicks and another guy. But the idea resulted from Angie Hicks' search for a reliable construction contractor in suburban Columbus, Ohio, on behalf of Osterly, who was a venture capitalist who was Hicks' boss. So anyway, together they created Angie's List. So they talk about transparent pricing and all that. You're getting a fair price. But when I did a little research, back in 2014, Angie's List paid $2.8 million to settle a lawsuit alleging that it automatically renewed members at a higher rate than they were led to believe. And then in August of 2016, Angie's List agreed to settle 3 lawsuits for a payment of $1.4 million. And the class action lawsuits focused on Angie's List acceptance of advertising payments from service providers, people like myself, and whether those payments affected service providers' letter grade ratings, reviews, and place in search result rankings. Angie's List denies the plaintiff's claims, but disclosed that revenue from service providers can affect the order of search result rankings of the service provider under certain settings, which means if they maybe paid more money, they'd rank up there higher. Didn't I tell you about the last podcast? This is all a pay-to-play deal? Yeah, absolutely. Then another aspect is that Angie's List changes its name in a complete rebranding. And then Also, they merged with HomeAdvisor. So now you got two companies, Angi and HomeAdvisor, both one of these service companies that tries to hook you up with credible contractors of whatever sort you're working with, credible interior designers or what have you. They're a mate matching service or a matching service or a service and customer matching service. I guess in a way, kind of like a dating match mate service. Anyway, they try to match the customer with the service provider. Then I came across an interview with the CEO of HomeAdvisor. And part of the intro to that was finding the right person to do a job around the house, whether it's a quick repair or major renovation, can often be a nerve-wracking chore. HomeAdvisor has built a business around taking some of the pain out of the process by featuring pre-screened local service professionals at its online marketplace. The CEO says his company has a large network of vetted pros for hire who all submitted to background checks and customer reviews. All right. I'll also mention that these things operate on algorithms, just like Facebook does, just like dating sites do. Algorithm is like a formula of matching people. You know, if they have this and this and this, then we can match them with somebody who is this, this, and that. So I'll just cover some of the questions that were asked of the HomeAdvisor CEO and his response. Now remember, Angie has merged with HomeAdvisor. So they're, I think, separate but yet connected. They're related. So one of the questions was, what lessons have you learned about the ways people book these kinds of services? The CEO answers, the thing we really learned is different types of needs require different types of experience. If you're looking for someone to repair a leak, it's different than looking for someone to come in and do a $50,000 kitchen renovation. What on-demand, quote unquote, means to homeowners and service providers can be different. Yet you have to be able to accommodate those scenarios. It's taken us a long time to figure that out. From our perspective, our on-demand platform has been a huge success. Another question. So the question was asked, what are the main concerns or questions that consumers have regarding a platform such as yours? Homeowners want to know they can find someone they can trust to come into their homes. Is this person reliable? Have they been screened for financial and criminal background? They want to see that other people have rated and reviewed them and they've been vetted. They want to know that they're paying a fair price. When you look at our price guide, we have the largest database of completed projects down to the zip code level. That gives homeowners the ability to see what something should cost, so they can hire with confidence and feel good about the job that's done. They want to know there's a sophisticated, mature company standing behind the process. But let's just say this, the kitchen remodel. You can get a stove for maybe, let's just say $300. You can also buy a stove for $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. So how do you know what something should cost? It's like saying, well, a car should cost $35,000. But you can get cars for all different prices, all the way up to Rolls-Royce, Ferrari, Lamborghini. You know, you can pay millions and millions of dollars for a car because of all the luxuries it has in it. So it ranges the gamut. What something should cost is kind of irrelevant as compared to what? The average? Okay, but people may not be looking for average. And so that can skew things and give people a wrong impression. Well, that's twice as expensive as what I saw on Angie's List or HomeAdvisor. Well, we're twice as good. I mean, we don't even get on Angie's List, you know, and I wouldn't get on it. I'll just tell you right now, I wouldn't even be part of Angie's List. I wouldn't be part of HomeAdvisor. I wouldn't be part of any of those services. Why? Because I'm an elite interior designer and I don't want to throw my hat in with all the rest of them. I just don't like the feeling of it. So I wouldn't do it. Then another good question. How can a tech company retain that level of assurance when representing so many pros? It says we spend north of 4 million or 5 million a year on screening and approving. So we reject 10 to 15% of all pros who apply. Okay, they're only rejecting 10 to 15%. They're not saying we're rejecting 80%. So he says it gives homeowners the confidence that somebody is paying attention and only letting the best in. Baloney. They aren't letting the best in. I'm not on it for that reason. These service providers have to compete in our ecosystem. If you don't show up on time, do good work, or get good reviews, you're not going to do well. Well, again, if they think they're only let the best in, they only let the best in of who applies that wants to be on Angie's List or HomeAdvisor. The elite people don't do that. They don't want to say, oh my gosh, all of a sudden it's like, what? You're a high-end elite restaurant, and then you say you're going to be selling your filet mignon at McDonald's and Burger King. Ain't happening, man. Ain't happening. Ain't happening. Nobody does that. They wouldn't even want to mess their reputation up and their uniqueness or their exclusiveness. Yes, nobody wants to mess with their exclusivity. So rejecting 10 to 15% of all pros who apply is no big deal, okay? That means they're taking 80% of the ones that want to be there. But they're in it for the money, okay? So another question is asked, what is the vetting process like? And the CEO says, well, you fill out an application. He says, we'll go through using social security numbers and other variables to do a background check with all publicly available documents that we can get a hold of on the local and national level. It's very expensive and time consuming, but we feel it's important. So anyway, I thought it was very interesting that on the very day that my podcast goes live, I schedule it to go live at like 5 a.m. on Tuesday. And then if I'm doing 2 podcasts a week, I schedule it to go 5 a.m. on Tuesday, 5 a.m. on Friday. Now, I might change a couple days, maybe try it out, see which one works better for downloads and whatnot. But right now it's Monday and Friday. Unless something comes up and I can't do 2 podcasts that week, like what happened before the last podcast. But anyway, these things, these programs, these companies, these referral services, these home service companies seem to be like, oh, that's the way to go. Like they are so looking out for you. Well, from my opinion, it appears to be, but they're also in it to make a bunch of money. That's why they're making money from advertising. That's why they're making money from the service providers. That's why they're making money from customers who want to have a greater access to information, like a tiered thing. Well, you can get in at this level, and then this is the next higher tier, and this is the next higher tier. And so you pay increasingly more money for those different levels. Same thing at the gym. You can get the basic membership or you can get the elite membership. So it works that way across the board. But I've looked at them. I've had, like I said, people call me and, give me a sales pitch on it. And really, the rep did more talking than he did listening. I had to bust in and finally say, hey, look, we've already spent 45 minutes here. You haven't told me yet what's the base fee to get in. And then he finally tells me. But, I do the math on it and think, geez, so I don't know if I want to spend $700 or $1,000 and maybe not get anything, while you are supposedly being the bird dog for me, setting me up like, oh, there's one, there's a good lead. And they'd be acting like a bird dog for a hunter, okay, so to speak. So, people give people leads all the time. And let's say they have 3 pros, 3 people in the area that do the same thing, and they're each paying $70 a lead. So between the 3 of them, they got $288 times 3. That's almost $1,000 between the 3. And then you've got, let's say, $700 between the 3. If they get 10 leads at 70 and none of them seem to work out, then you've got $700 times 3. That's $2,100. So they're making $3,000, and maybe nobody got anything out of it. Maybe the service professionals didn't get anything out of it. They didn't get a lead. They didn't get a job. And so they're still going. So anyway, again, pay to play, pay to play, pay to play. Come on. You don't get anything for free in this world. Okay. If it's free, there's something attached to it. Okay. And maybe something that's not good. So yeah, there's no free lunch. And if there is a free lunch, guess what? Somebody else had to pay for it. Everything has to be paid for. There ain't nothing free in this world. Again, it could be free, but somebody had to underwrite it. Somebody had to pay for it. Okay. Things just don't materialize and, hey, we got this for free and we got that for free. And now I suppose somebody could give somebody, free to this. And then they say, well, because we got this for free, we can give this for free. And because these 2 other people gave this for free, we give it to people for free. If 2 people did it for free, then we can pass it on, do free. Yeah, you could probably do that. but it still costs in time and effort, doesn't it? Costs something. It all comes down to time or money or both. And usually it's both in whatever ratio it happens to be. Somebody might put a little bit of money in and a lot of time. Some other people might put in a lot of money and very little time, or a little bit of time and a lot of money. So again, the ratio can be anything, 10 to 1, 3 to 7, whatever. It's the way it is. So anyway, I thought this might be interesting to fill you in on the fact that, lo and behold, out of the blue, by circumstance, happenstance, I get this call from this representative from Angie trying to get me to sign up for their service. And he wanted to sign me up right then and there. And I said, no, I'm look into this a little bit more and review the information. But, I'm not going to sign up. I don't want to sign up. I don't want to be part of any of these home-based services. Why? Because they're not going to care about my business like I care about my business. And I care about my customers in ways that they would never even imagine, at a much higher level than they could ever imagine. So am I putting myself into their hands? No way. No way. Okay. Well, anyway, I didn't expect to do this podcast on this topic so soon, but now you know a few more details and the behind the scenes aspects of these different services. So again, I still say, do your own due diligence, do your own interviewing of people that you see. Remember that what you see online as being the top rated or they always show up on page 1 doesn't mean anything necessarily. They might be doing better SEO, search engine optimization. They might be having somebody do that for them that's a phenomenal expert in getting people ranked, but that has nothing to do with their skill set or their talent or their ability. So don't be fooled by everything you see online, because it ain't necessarily so. And I said ain't on purpose. It ain't necessarily so. So it's your time, it's your money, it's your resources. You do your own due diligence and you ask the right questions. But if you get somebody like me, if you don't ask the right questions, I'm going to ask them for you and answer it so that you are fully aware of everything, because that's the way I operate. I'm one of the best. You get the best. So very adamant about that. And when you get me, you get me. You don't get a hireling. You don't get an underling. If I thought it was, not that important to the job, that, as part of that be given over to somebody else, like research or whatever, that's okay. But when I'm operating on several different levels simultaneously. So I'm looking at what it looks like, what it feels like, how it incorporates with the project. So, I've got, as you might say, let's put it this way, I got multi-computers operating simultaneously to make sure that you get absolutely the best result for you as an individual. Because I'm only going to deal with you individually to make sure that it is tailored, fitted, and designed exclusively for you, period. And that means I don't subscribe to the trends or the fads. That's for amateurs. That's for people that follow. And I don't do that. I'm a leader, not a follower. So I study and do my own due diligence. A lot of my design is rooted in history, successful things that have been done in the past. It's based on the mindset and the thinking of some of the greatest artists and designers the world has ever known. Why? Because I study that. Study the best to be the best. These trends and fads, it's like, gosh sakes, it just screws up everything, making everybody feel like, they've got to be this and that to be in style. Wait till you get the next podcast. Whoa, baby. That's going to be passionate. Came across another good podcast that touched on these things that I've been talking about and seeing potential problems with. And it's about trends again. Oh, baby, are we going to get into that one? So you're going to see my wisdom, insight, intelligence, and passion on full display. Full display. Okay, so wait till you tune into that one. That's going to be a doozy. Yeah, so it's going to be a lot of fun, but when you care immensely like I do, you're real passionate about it. So I thought to myself, that podcast that's coming up is going to you're going to think that I'm the Billy Sunday or the Billy Graham of interior design, because I'm going to teach it and I'm going to preach it, and with passion intelligence, wisdom, understanding, the whole enchilada, baby. That's how it's going to get done. Okay. Well, hey, have a great day. Hopefully this has added to your wisdom in your life and can be very helpful so that you make sure that you're getting the best for you. We want the best for you, for crying out loud, whether you work with me or not. Yeah, we want to do everybody right. Make sure that nobody's getting taken advantage of. And in a lot of cases in life, will you spend more than you estimated? Yeah. But then it gets done right once the first time. At least it does for me. I can't vouch for anybody else as to whether they do it. But with me, even if we do go over budget, you're getting way more than you ever anticipated. And you'll see that it is truly an investment. But most people, they don't know what things really cost, and they don't know how much they should spend to get this result that they want. Some things just say, well, you can't quite get that result because you got to be at a certain level to get that. You get certain quality of materials to get that. And if you're below that, it just doesn't quite get it. It's like the fit and finish and trim on a Rolls Royce or a Lamborghini or a Ferrari compared to a Malibu. I mean, they both have steering wheels, they both have seats, they both have, radios and CD players and GPS and handles and push buttons and all that kind of stuff. But, each one of those aspects can be really something, metal instead of plastic, wool carpet instead of nylon, headliners. I mean, all kinds of stuff. You look at what's in a Rolls Royce compared to a regular American-made car, and I mean, there's a lot of similarities, but holy cow, a lot of differences too. So anyway, we will look forward to talking with you on the next podcast. All right, everybody, have a fantastic day. Bye-bye now.